C-Dub, what they do?
What up? What up? What up?
Hey, man, we got a couple of topics today. We're going to talk
Yeah,
about this play-in situation. I mean, it's looking crazy
yeah,
in the Western Conference right now, bro. Like 8 teams tied with the same record. And then we also going to talk about the possible wild cards in the playoffs for each conference. So the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, who could be a thorn in somebody's side. We'll get into all of that plus more, big dog, right after the intro.
Thank you for tuning in to the number one place for your basketball fix, NBA Central, hosted by the Cognac.
All right. What's the word? NBA basketball fans, welcome to another episode of NBA Central. It's your boy Big Kev. We got C-Dub in the building. Y'all already know what to do. Hit us up at NBA Central Pod, wherever you like to receive your social media information. And bro, we're gonna get right into the topics. Let's start with the play-in tournament because tonight is a big night, especially in the Western Conference. Rest in peace to Malone, Mike Malone out in Denver. Right before the playoffs, they got rid of Buddy, bro. Like this been the craziest season for coaches being fired though that I've seen in a long time, Brody.
yeah, bro. It's nuts, bro. This is definitely unprecedented, especially with teams like going into the playoffs with pretty good position. When you look at the Grizzlies, they could have been in the fourth seed. That's what they got, the same exact record as how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 teams from 7 to 4, and they
Yeah.
can be in the fourth seed. They fired their head coach for some reason. I don't know. And then you look at the Nuggets. They just won a championship a year ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. I guess we living on different standards now. I mean, it ain't showing the same thing over in Chicago, bro. We ain't living by those standards.
Look, it ain't. Listen, Chicago just don't do that across sports. It ain't just with the NBA. It's across sports. But Chicago got something to play for tonight.
Yeah.
If we start with the Eastern Conference for the play-in tournament, because basically the top number 1 through 6 is already set in the
Yeah.
Eastern Conference. So now you have, and then number 7 through 10 is already set in terms of who's going to be in those positions. Nobody can creep into the play-in in the Eastern Conference, but they're jockeying for position right now. Orlando's probably still going to hold on to that 7 seed because it's only about 3 games to go for pretty much everybody. But the Chicago Bulls, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Miami Heat, they're jockeying for position. And that number 8 seed is a coveted spot because it gives you 2 opportunities to make the playoffs as opposed to just 1. So how are we feeling about that Eastern Conference play-in situation right now? You do got the Bucks and the Pistons can swap places. The Knicks and the Pacers could probably swap places in the playoffs. But how are you looking about the Eastern Conference in general?
The Eastern Conference is probably set, is what it's going to be. The positioning with the top 16s from the Pistons to the Cavaliers is pretty much where it's going to be. Where it is, where you got some craziness is down in the play-in, like you was talking about, and it makes it even more weirder that the Chicago Bulls decided to rest their players yesterday. They're already out of the question of getting a lottery pick. I don't know why you still play games, but Billy Donovan in the front glass decided that they needed rest for their players. All of the players is under 25. So you get the logic if you can get it. I don't
Except
get it.
Vooch.
Except Vooch. You know what I'm saying? But it's interesting because everybody on here has a chance to be in a different position. Like Orlando, they're 2 games up, but it's 4 games up. They can lose the next 2. And by logic, somebody can come and take their place. You got the Hawks. And also, these teams are playing each other. I think the Orlando Magic and Atlanta Hawks, they're playing each other twice.
They played each other last night, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, and they got another game they got to play as well. The Bulls are going to play the Miami Heat in a big time matchup. It's probably for who's going to stay in the 9th position. And then you got the Hawks. Hawks is just around. They just, you know what I'm saying? They just a shoe in the middle of the living room or something. You know what I'm saying? Somebody pick it up and throw it in a closet. You know, they just in the way. I like these young upcoming, like the Heat. I think it's a team that needs to be in a game like the play-in tournament. It's for young, upcoming teams. I don't look at Atlanta as a young, even though they got them 2 guys.
Richard
Sher and probably defensive player of the year over there. I forgot his name is Daniels. I think his name is Daniels.
Yeah.
They seem like they shouldn't be here. They should be higher or they should be out the playoffs. This play-in is just for the Bulls, the Heat, and the Magic. And the Magic shouldn't really be there.
Yeah, the Magic had a bunch of injuries. That's what pushed them down in the standings to this point. Yeah. And Detroit kind of got outside their body and played really good basketball for a long time in the season. So, like, my thing is this: we don't want to underestimate the Hawks, the Chicago Bulls, and the Atlanta Hawks. They always go at it. Pretty much everybody in this play-in tournament, honestly, 3 of them been in the same division, and then the Bulls play all these teams tough every season. And it's crazy what you mentioned about the Hawks, bro, because, and I'm going to keep saying the Black Hawks, I'm such a Chicagoan. But what you said about the Hawks is because, like, if you look at their record probably over the last 3 or 4 seasons, it's probably the same. They probably got, like, 180 wins and 180 losses. Like, they just middle of the road team that just hasn't been able to get over the hump. So we'll see how they do, but I'm not going to underestimate any of these teams. And that's why I want the Chicago. That's why I was kind of upset as a Bulls fan to watch the Bulls rest their players last night. Even if they were playing Cleveland, you don't want to just give away games this late in the season. But we'll see how that goes. Now, over in the Western Conference, bro, it is insane. And we'll look at a couple of the comments real quick before we get to the Western Conference. What's the word, Rob? And so let's get to see you, man. Always supporting the guys. Lloyd Dingle, what's up, my guy? We're gonna see you in about 30 minutes or 45 minutes over on Shot Bulls podcast with the live call of tonight's game between the Bulls and the Miami Heat. But probably the most entertaining season in a very long time. A lot of storylines, crazy trades, baby mama drama. What a season! Hey, it started with the baby mama drama, and it's come all the way down to championship coaches being fired right before the playoffs. And I gotta ask you a question, Dub. Like, is this the softest era of NBA players? I feel like Mike Malone got fired because the players' feelings got hurt, bro. Because he keep it real with the players, bro.
Yeah, if that is the reason that he got fired, because the players was complaining because he coached them too hard, I just gotta say, I never heard of this back in the day. Like a coach getting fired because they get into it with the players. We've heard of PJ Carlesimo. I don't even think he got fired right away after he got choked up.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to disparage this generation. It's a little fragile. It's a little fragile. Yeah, I just say, I ain't gonna say it's go all the way and say y'all soft. A little fragile.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about, because we saw the clip of a couple of weeks ago of Mike Malone saying players don't watch film and they don't hold themselves accountable, and but we don't know exactly why he got fired. But this was like out of left field. Even more so than the Memphis coach, right? Like the Memphis coach, it came out that they were having issues with the type of style of play that he wanted to play with. Yeah. And here we are now looking at a championship coach who's gotten the best out of players like Nikola Jokic, players like Jamal Murray, and so on and so forth, up and down to that team. It just didn't make sense to me for him to get fired. This is also something that I would expect to happen at least after the season, right? Right before the playoffs, it's just unprecedented. So Lloyd Dingle, we right there with you. Rob Antol with 7 through 10 in the East and 3 through 8 in the West is coming down to the final games and possibly tiebreakers. And you're absolutely correct in terms of the tiebreakers. Let's see if I can see that real quick. Because right now, it's going to be records for the most part out East. But the tiebreaker, I think the Bulls and the Heat the Bulls got the lead in that series this season, right?
Yeah, they do.
So the Bulls hold a tiebreaker there, and then Atlanta, because I know we played Atlanta like 4 times early in the season.
Yeah, we did. Play all of our games like before All-Star break, I think.
Yeah, so I think Atlanta might hold the tiebreaker with the Bulls, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
because it was some crazy games, and that was during the season when we still had Zach and so on and so forth. So you're absolutely right, Rob. And so, what up, Wutage? I heard Zion has a stalker, but I'm disappointed it's not a restaurant owner of some kind.
Okay, that's funny.
He would be stalking the restaurant owner, not the other way around, bro.
Hey, I got a comment on that. Like, a lot of people are trying to find a reason to give up on Zion Williamson. Y'all, I see y'all. Y'all go ahead and keep on trying to give up on Zion Williamson. Once he get matured, it's eventually going to happen. Once he get matured and really get down to taking care of himself and work, once he have a baby, it's over with for the league, bro.
He already got a baby. And also, I'm not too sure I can agree with you on that one, because he has
talented. Dude.
Well, my thing is this: players of his stature, right? Players that kind of rely on athleticism, they typically peak early and then fizzle out late, as opposed to what you're suggesting is that he'll start to peak later. I just don't see it happening. If you look at recent years, you look at
Kev, it ain't as much as a peak as far as skill. I hope you ain't talking about his skill getting better. I'm talking about his mental, his mind state.
Yeah,
that's all I'm talking about skill.
I got you there. His mind state could get better, but by the time that happens, will he still have the physical gifts? Because I think it goes hand in hand. He needs to be locked in right now. He's already in the middle of his contract extension, so like he needs to be locked in right now if he's planning on being a mainstay in this league, because teams are going to be shying away from him when it's time for him to re-up, and even if it's time to trade for him. So we'll see how that goes. Rob Antol again, with a lot of teams didn't think much about some of the games during the regular season, and now those tiebreakers come back and hunt them. Yeah, that's every season.
That's a good point.
That's every season. All this resting your players, I feel you on that one, bro.
I'm in the old adage of Tom Thibodeau. Like, every game is important, bro. Like, Tom Thibodeau had the Eastern Conference locked. He playing Derek and them. Maybe that was a detriment to us, and that's what happened to Derek. But I understand his logic. You compete in each and every game. You try to win every game you out there on the court. Even Michael Jordan. He never missed games, bro. He out there every game, bro.
That's how you do something like 72-10. But teams are different now, bro. They're different.
Like, it's weird.
V-Dog, what's the word, Kevin C-Dub? I was completely out on the Timberwolves, but they've been playing a lot better than earlier in the year. Even though last night, though, they lost crazy. They had a big lead against Milwaukee, ended up losing that game. They are playing better, but the real reason why is because it's all contingent upon the health of Julius Randle. We already know what Anthony Edwards can do. We already know what the rest of these guys can do on the squad. But if Julius Randle, the person that they traded for, they gave up a really good player in Karl-Anthony Towns, who's having a great season for Julius Randle, and he's been how he's been for the last 4 or 5 seasons, which is in and out of the lineup with injuries. But speaking of
I got a question for you before you go to that question. When you look at this Western Conference, it just look crazy, right?
Every year
I look at this and I say 2 teams getting upset this playoff series. I'm looking, that's just going to happen.
We gonna get there. We gonna get to the wild card situation.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, bro. Somebody gonna be really upset. Go ahead.
But speaking of the Wolves and the Western Conference, man, this is the situation here now. Like, all of these guys are pretty much clinched with the exception of Dallas and Phoenix, because Phoenix got an outside chance to like sneaking in. But I don't think Devin Booker has what it takes. And Phoenix is on a 7-game losing streak right now, bro. 7-game losing streak at the most important junction of the season. But KD is out. Bradley Beal is out. Even if he's in, he's out. They don't have nobody else. Like, really, they mortgaged their entire future, C-Dub, on grabbing Bradley Beal, on grabbing KD, and trying to build around Booker, and it just hasn't looked good. It's going to be a completely different team next season.
I agree with you. This is, in fact, just to piggyback what you said, this is the death of the super team. It's done. It was never going to work out in the beginning. The big three only played 45 games together in 2023. They played 10 games together this season. That's a total of 50. What we got? 51 games out of 164. And then 4 games we got swept in the playoffs a year ago. So it's just didn't really have a chance on this way, even though they were 8-2 this season together, though, Kel.
But like, hey, 8-2 is good when it's the beginning of the season or even the middle of the season. But 8-2 is not good when you're sitting at almost 79 games played. That means they only played 10 games together this season. That's not good. And speaking of health, though, like the Clippers, bro, they're healthy, and this is the first time in 3 years that you can actually brag and boast about your boys. They're sitting at 47-32. They can finish as high as the number 3 seed. They can overtake the Lakers. The Lakers play Dallas tonight in Dallas, so that's a rematch. Not a rematch, but a return home for Luka. Anthony Davis getting the opportunity to play against the people that kind of stabbed him in the back, so to speak. And it should be a good game tonight there. Dallas is on a 2-game losing streak. They can't afford to lose, especially if Phoenix finally wins a game. But the Lakers are trying to hold on to that number 3 spot. I'm not sure if they want to see the Golden State Warriors in the first round, but they can end up seeing anybody. They can see the Timberwolves, the Grizzlies, the Nuggets, the Clippers in that first round, but they want to at least hold on to that number 3 spot because number 1 and number 2 is already locked up.
Yeah, man, this is going to be an interesting playoffs. The Mavericks is a pretty dangerous team. It depends on AD at 10. Wait, I'm about to say they're the most dangerous 10th seed we ever had, the Dallas Mavericks. If you got an AD, that's good. You know what I'm saying? I feel so bad for Dallas. I just feel so bad for Dallas as a city. You know what I'm saying? This is a city.
It's
but
rough.
AD's good. He might bring y'all some good times over there. Let's not forget he a top 5 player when he's healthy. So I feel sorry for y'all, but not that sorry because you still got you a top 5 player over there when he's good. Now, when I look at this conference, what you want to look at these standards like who can compete with the Thunder because they sitting up there with 65 wins. Now you look at the 8th seed, you got the Timberwolves. At the 8th seed, you know, the play-in got to be played, but Timberwolves sit at the 8th seed. I think the Grizzlies not coming off the set. They might go. They're not passing it. This is how tough the damn Western Conference is. The Memphis Grizzlies are an awesome team, but the Golden State Warriors are awesome, and the Nuggets are awesome. They just fired their coach.
The Nuggets on 4-game losing streak right now. They just fired their coach, and as well as Jokic is playing, they just haven't been able to win games lately. And real quick, V-Dog, the Phoenix is still in it. They're not completely eliminated because they're only 3 games behind Dallas with 3 games to go, and they hold that tiebreaker. So they just need to win 3 and Dallas to lose 3, and then they'll be in the playoffs. But that's highly unlikely.
No, that's silly.
Highly unlikely.
Their ass is out. No, they out. I'm saying they out. Their ass is out. They should want to be out, Kev. Don't you think so?
Yeah. You want to like Mercy. I would. Well, I don't think so because I don't think they have any of their draft picks.
They gotta trade them away. That's what makes sense. You ain't got no draft picks. You gotta trade those and go get you some draft picks.
Right now, it looks like they got a 2024 first round pick swap with Washington.
With Washington, oh, that's
2026 first round. But so that means that Washington is not going to trade their pick. They're not going to swap it with the Suns.
They not.
So you're right. I think they probably better off going out and going to the lottery because either or, unless the basketball guys are 100% bogus and give the Suns a top 3
Kev. Trade all of them. All 3.
Trade what?
All 3 of them. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. All 3. Don't even fuck around. Try to start over.
Bulls. I wouldn't mind seeing Devin Booker over here. My guy. I wouldn't mind.
It's gonna cost a hefty penny.
You're right about that, bro. I'm not trying to give up on. I don't know. Would you give up on Kobe for Devin?
Nah, Kobe ascending right now. Devin is who he is.
Yeah. He's a solid player too, man. But I don't know. I don't. Where would you want to see somebody like Devin Booker? Because Kevin Durant, he gonna go play with one of his homies next year. I already see it.
Devin Booker, he seems like a Golden State guy. He's a feisty, fiery guy. It seems like a Memphis guy. You might want to trade him for Bane. Miami's good as well. You know, one of those feisty teams, one of those competing teams. He needs to be on a competing team, bro. He been through a lot, bro.
That's true.
He had ups and downs. He been to the finals and he been an ass team.
That's true. That's true. But all right, man. So we see how that Western Conference play out, and you just honestly you can't call it. It's definitely pick 'em out there. It's only 1 game, 2 games separating all the teams from 3 through 9, 3 through 8. So anything can happen over the next 3 games. Nobody, I tell you this much, nobody wants to go on a losing streak right now, especially the way Denver's playing right now. Denver could lose tonight, or if they play tonight, they could lose their next game and drop all the way to 8. So they better get it together.
Which I predict is going to happen. Like, bro, and that's really telling. Normally, when you lose a coach and the players wanted it, they come out playing well.
Mm-hmm.
There's something going on in Denver, bro. It's a story there.
Yo. What just happened? Am I back?
Oh, I'm back too. I thought I was gone.
That was so weird, bro. What was that?
What did you just hit the switch? What you just do?
It just both of us just went out. That wasn't me. That was the software.
Oh, okay.
I hit the switch afterwards to make sure it wasn't my mic. But all right, so moving on, man. Let us know in the comments what y'all think about this. But we're gonna go to wild cards, bro, in the Eastern and Western Conference. Now, it's gonna be rougher in the Western Conference because we don't know who's gonna be in what position.
It's gonna be rougher.
So we'll start with the Eastern Conference. Now, I'm looking at the Detroit Pistons. If you see the thumbnail, that's who I believe is, because I felt this way coming into the season. If you guys go all the way back to before the season started, Big Kev was saying that the Detroit Pistons is going to be like the Houston Rockets were last season. And, you know, here it is. Here we are. The Detroit Pistons. No, not the Pistons. I was saying that the Houston Rockets were going to be like Orlando, but I didn't see Detroit being this good this season.
Yeah.
So here they are sitting in the 6th spot. They got a slight chance of moving up to the 5 spot. But if they stay in this 6th spot and they play the New York Knicks in the first round, they could definitely win that series, bro.
Yes. Without a doubt, bro. That's a good ass choice. I was going to go that way too. What do you think they get if they beat them? If they beat them, we talking if they beat them. What can they do in a second round matchup? Who would that be?
It would be
6-3. It'll be the Cavs.
It'll be one or two. It depends. The Cavs are playing the 8th seed in the first round, so then they'll go to the lowest remaining seed. So if Detroit beats the Knicks, then they will be the lowest remaining seed unless Orlando shocks Boston.
Right. So, I'll just do it with both teams. Can they push the Cavs or the Celtics? I don't think they can beat them, but can they push them? I think they can push them for 2 victories. They can push them for 2 victories.
My biggest problem with both of those teams, well, specifically with the Cavaliers, is the Cavaliers play really well offensively and defensively.
That's a fact.
So, like right now, I think they're leading the league in scoring by a lot.
Yeah.
You know, they're averaging 122, and then Oklahoma City, of course, is number 2, and they got the best record in the league at 120. Whereas Boston's not scoring as much. Now Boston plays really good defense, but so does Detroit. I just don't see Detroit being able to push Cleveland. It'll be a fun series to watch, but it'll be a learning experience for the Pistons. Now, as far as Boston is concerned, we've seen Boston be pushed by teams, with the exception of last season when they won a championship. But the seasons prior, they were pushed by a lot of teams. Yeah. So I could see a Detroit team that likes to muddy it up, slow down the pace, so on and so forth, giving Boston more trouble than they would give Cleveland. But, you know, I'm higher on Cleveland this year than I have been in the past.
Absolutely. And that's definitely warranted. I'll say, okay, you got Detroit. I can't hate on Detroit. I think a lot of people will pick Detroit. I looked at Detroit, and that's the reason I didn't pick them, because I know a lot of people was going to pick Detroit. Then I looked at the Bucks, and I was like, damn, we got an angry Giannis Antetokounmpo. We getting ready to see a crazy Giannis in at least the first round.
And Dame might come back for the playoffs too.
And he might come back for the playoffs. I didn't know that. That's good to know, but that's not the team I'm picking. I'm picking the Indiana Pacers, bro.
I like that one.
Yes, they've been to the in-season tournament championship last year. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. That means they took some lumps. They been through the struggles. Before you become a champion in this league, you got to take your bumps and bruises.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana has taken some bumps and bruises, and they come out on the other end in good position in the 4th seed. You won't have to see one of those big guys into the second round, probably either the Cavs or the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
You might have to play both of them. You might have to get both of them. But if any team, because I think they blew out a team by like 60 points. If you want to talk offense, they can play with the Cavs. They can play with the Thunder. I don't know about defense.
Right. They don't got no defense, bro. And
that's they can score with them.
That was my biggest thing, is the defense aspect of it. Is that got me, and they could move up to the number 3 spot depending on what happens to the Knicks over the next 3 games. They could inch into that 3 spot and find themselves in a situation where they're playing the Detroit Pistons or the Milwaukee Bucks. So it's a little bit of leeway there. Moving over to the Western Conference, big dog.
Yeah.
Oh man, like
I got
my wild card right now.
Yeah.
Is the Memphis Grizzlies, bro. What? Why are you doing this to me, bro? Like,
that's mad.
What you mean? Give me your wild card, then, since I went first last time.
Go ahead. Well, you already said
I'm going with the Memphis Grizzlies for a couple of reasons. One of them is exactly what you said about the Denver Nuggets. They playing with way more moxie now that they fired their coach. Your boy Ja Morant, he didn't stop shooting, and now he's throwing bombs out there. And they're playing together. They're getting healthy at the right time. And they play smart. They play smart basketball, bro. I'm not mad at them. They play good defense, not great defense, but good defense. And they got Ja Morant. He's a definite superstar in this league. It doesn't look like it right now because of what happened the last season and a half for him. But he's one of those guys that can take over and push you over the hump. I would go with the Houston Rockets, but there's number 2 in the West. So, can a number 2 seed really be a wild card?
Yeah, you can't do that. I'm gonna go with the Memphis Grizzlies as well. They got a superstar in Ja Morant that can completely take over a series if needed. And this is gonna sound crazy, but success for the Memphis Grizzlies is definitely gonna be on the big shoulders of Zach Edey. And that's a lot for a rookie, bro, but he must dominate like he can dominate. He's 7'8" or whatever the fuck he is. He can play ball, bro. And when you look at him, when you watch him play game to game, look at highlights, when he right and dominating, bro, the Memphis Grizzlies look terrifying to play, bro.
Yeah, I can't really say that I've seen him dominate because he's not really a focal point of their offense.
It's not in a old sense though, Kev. Throw it in the post and shit like that. Coming off screens. I'm talking about rolling to the basket, protecting the paint, like modern big man shit. He can do and dominate. Memphis gonna be tough, bro. You gotta deal with a 7'5" dude, bro. You gotta deal with that.
I'm not mad at this. I'm not mad at your take. I'm not necessarily sure it hinges upon Zach Edey, but we'll see. We will see. Now that my backup is the hold on, I had it pulled up a second ago. Let's see, because I'm on Memphis really out of here real quick. My backup in the West is your boys, the LA Clippers, bro.
Wait. Say it for the people in the back, Kev.
Yeah, my backup wildcard team is your guys, the LA Clippers. Like they're peaking at the right time. Like right now, they've only lost 3 times in like their last 20 games.
Let's go.
2, 3. Yeah, they lost like 3 times in their last 20 games. And they're on a 5-game winning streak right now. You got your boy Kawhi finally playing consistent basketball. Their big man is solid. Zubac, they gave him the contract extension at the beginning of the season, and he's just been playing really good basketball. They got role players like Kawhi, not Kawhi, but Derrick Jones Jr., somebody that's solid. Nicholas Batum is going to come in and give you Norman Powell. Is he back, though? Let me see.
Is he injured?
No, he was injured for a few seconds, but he's back now. So, Norman Powell is my favorite players in the league. Could have been an all-star this season. And they got players that are veterans out there. Patty Mills. I mentioned Derrick Jones Jr. James Harden is playing really inspired basketball. They didn't turn Chris Dunn into a viable player. You got and they have something that a lot of these teams don't have, and that's solidarity at the coaching position. Like Tyronn Lue is one of the better coaches in the NBA. He's up there, like in the top 5, top 10 even situation. So I just can't overlook these guys the way I have been in the last few seasons because they're playing really good at the right time.
Let me just tell you this team, and you tell me if this is a well put together, scrappy team. We just gonna mention the coach Tyronn Lue. That's one of the best coaches in the league. You got Ben Simmons, who is a talent. I know a lot of y'all are down on Ben Simmons, but Ben Simmons can play basketball. Coming off your bench, Nicholas Batum, Bogdanovich, an absolute scorer of the basketball. Chris Dunn, a defensive nightmare. James Harden, who's close to a triple-double as of late every single game. You got Zubac, one of the most consistent centers in the league who never get any type of pub. You get Derrick Jones Jr., Norman Powell, and then leading them all is, you know who he is, bro. Like, come on, Kawhi. Like, this team is put together pretty decent. Y'all better watch it. Y'all better not sleep on the Clippers, bro. I'm telling you right now. Look, he don't like it now. You brought it up.
What you mean I don't like it? I'm just listening to you.
You looking like this? You got this nigga started on the
No,
Clippers?
listen, bro. You're the old heads, bro. I'm not animosity towards you at all. I picked them because they're playing the type of basketball we expected 3 seasons ago. And honestly, letting go of Paul George and letting the Norman Powell step up, Derrick Jones Jr. and Zubac step up, it really helped them. So it's not a bad thing, bro. It's not a bad thing that we're seeing here with the Clippers. They're definitely a wild card in the West. And right now, it's looking like they could find themselves playing like even the Lakers in the first round. So it's one of those.
They could go 9 deep, and they got all players on their team that know how to play NBA basketball. All of them. They don't even got any rookies in the lineup, gang. They ain't no rookies.
It's crazy right now, bro. Like right now, they would be in the Clippers versus Nuggets. So the Nuggets are in free fall right now. It could be the Clippers versus Golden State if Golden State moves up. But I mean, and it could be Clippers versus Lakers. Like it could be Clippers versus Memphis. You just don't know what we're gonna see. But I think that they're gonna be ready for any one of these teams that are around them in this muddied up Western Conference. And it could definitely be Jeff Van Gundy over there too. See, man, you cannot overlook this Clipper squad. So that's what's up, man. All right, we're gonna get out of here, man. We've been here for 30 minutes. We got the Bulls game coming up at 7. Head on over to Chicago Bulls Central right now, where Hayes is doing the pregame show for that. South Bulls podcast afterwards for the live call with C-Dub, Bobby Stevo, and myself popping in and out. Man, we appreciate you guys for rocking with the entire Chi-Town Sports family. We got this channel, NBA Central, NFL Central, the South Bulls podcast, and any other Chicago team. Type your favorite Chicago team in, put the word Central behind it. You will find one of the guys. I'm holding it down over the Chicago White Sox Central.
Pray for my man Kev, bro. You got to cover the White Sox.
It's rough. It's rough. But all right, man, we're going to holler at y'all, man. We appreciate all the love and support. We'll get it to y'all next time. Peace.